Picture this, you've been an Assassin's Creed fan since the inception of the franchise, and being that you are a member of the AC community, you know the number one thing that fans want to see is the series go to Japan. After all, when most hear the word assassin, the first thing that comes to mind is the shinobi. For years, Ubisoft put off this idea, even going as far as to dismiss the concept of feudal Japan. In a 2014 interview with IGN, the game's director went on to say,
"You could always do it, but the point I was trying to make was that in the broad strokes and scales of history, that's a theme that's been well mined in video games. So Assassin's Creed is one of those games that can take lesser known time periods or corners of the world and make them cool, fun, new, and refreshing. Feudal Japan would work for an Assassin's game for sure, but I feel like it would start to look like, oh, I've played this, you know what I mean? Or, oh, I've been a ninja before, I've been a samurai before."
But it would seem Ubisoft has changed their tone because recently they revealed the latest entry in the AC franchise titled Assassin's Creed Shadows. It takes place in feudal Japan and it stars a Japanese woman and a black samurai. This left a certain demographic with a difficult choice. They had to decide if they hated women or black people more. And if you're on social media, I think you know what choice they made. That's what I would say if I were another puppet controlled by the mainstream liberal media. Truthfully, this ongoing debate has nothing to do with race and everything to do with historical accuracy. And it doesn't matter how many Japanese people have stated they love Yasuke. It's the people who are chronically online, hiding behind anime avatars like me that you should trust. This has nothing to do with some people's disdain for seeing a black man in power. This has everything to do with maintaining the historical accuracy of the Assassin's Creed franchise. See, being historically accurate has always been a cornerstone of the AC franchise, and it all started in this game's roots. For those of you unaware, Assassin's Creed is rooted in the Prince of Persia. The original game was developed as a Prince of Persia game. You were slated to play as an assassin tasked with protecting the Prince of Persia. The thing is, there were so many cool original ideas being thrown around that eventually Ubisoft saw the potential in that early build to become its own thing, thus we have Assassin's Creed. The Prince of Persia featured incredibly historically accurate feats. Things such as the prince being able to rewind time, run on walls in a manner that defies all laws of physics, and even dressed like an early 2000s MySpace emo before MySpace was ever a thing. This would be the perfect backdrop for the influx of historical accuracies that would come in the form of Assassin's Creed. I hate to say it, but someone's gotta be a martyr. Assassin's Creed Shadow is a travesty and disrespectful to everything the franchise stood for, and that is historical accuracy. And today, I'm gonna prove it by sharing my top 10 most historically accurate Assassin's Creed moments. Before I share mine, do me a favor and comment below some of your favorite historically accurate moments in the Assassin's Creed franchise. Sound cool? Bet. Now let's talk about mine. Assassin's Creed Unity is one of the most polarizing entries in the franchise. It starred a protagonist named Arno during the French Revolution, and many praised it for having the best parkour system in the series, but many also panned it because, well, it was incredibly buggy at launch. This has left the community split when it comes to bringing up Assassin's Creed Unity. But you know one thing most Assassin's Creed fans can agree on? It's the historical accuracy of Unity. See, Napoleon really did locate a key to the first civilization's temple, but I think my favorite historical moment in Assassin's Creed Unity is when Arno fights a World War II fighter pilot at the top of the Eiffel Tower. A lot of historians leave this part out of the textbooks, and honestly, you gotta understand, it's not due to malice. You gotta understand, Arno was an elite assassin hiding on top of the Eiffel Tower, fighting for his life and liberty inside of Europe during World War II. And it was easy to miss this moment because you had to be there. But luckily, Ubisoft was, or else we would have not gotten this awesome battle. The next piece of history I'd like to highlight is for the Trump voters out there who don't believe in hate, just heritage. Did you know that Trump didn't coin the acronym MAGA? Well, oh yeah, it first came from ancient Greece. There's a side quest in Assassin's Creed Odyssey where the player has to help a disgruntled Athens resident named Cleon. He doesn't like the changes he's seeing in his neighborhood, so you're tasked with helping him clean things up. After you finish helping him, you have a brief conversation with Cleon that goes something like this.
What do you think you're doing? You're driving this mob to madness.
This is nothing. I will make Athens great again.
Did you catch that? Make Athens great again. It sounds just like the Orange Man's signature catchphrase. Take every first letter in that statement and it spells out MAGA. Sorry, Trump fans, but he didn't invent MAGA. Cleon from ancient Greece did, and Ubisoft proved it. Assassin's Creed 3 Liberation is a spin-off title that was released exclusively for the PS Vita in 2012, then released on PC, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch as a remaster. This game contains some of the most historically accurate content in all of Assassin's Creed. It stars the black woman named Evelyn who fights the Templar Order in New Orleans, with even a guest appearance by Connor from the main game. The story is set in 1765 to 1777, and despite what modern-day Texas textbooks say, this was a turbulent time in US history. See, this game takes place in the Deep South during peak slavery, and you play as a black woman. You would think that that would cause issues with the stealth, but this game historically proves that your skin color doesn't matter. What Liberation taught me is Kanye West was right. Slavery was a choice. Every black person brought to this country against their will could have easily avoided slavery, harassment, sexual assault, lynchings, and economic inequality if they just joined the Assassin's Order. In Liberation, it featured this unique mechanic not seen in any other Assassin's Creed game, where Evelyn was able to change outfits to fit her situation. You were no longer viewed as 3/4 human if you just put on a sundress. If you wanted to sneak into a white man's house, all you had to do is put on a little cute sundress and have an umbrella. Assassin's Creed and Kanye West tried to tell us, but you refused to listen. Y'all just want to be victims instead of understanding true history. Now, since we just discussed Assassin's Creed 3 Liberation, let's move the conversation to its big brother, Assassin's Creed 3. One of my favorite pieces of DLC comes from this game, and it's called The Tyranny of George Washington. In this storyline, America's first president is corrupted by the Apple of Eden, which is a historical artifact that actually exists, by the way. Now, if you don't think it's evil for our founding fathers to preach about freedom and liberty while owning slaves, then you're gonna love this DLC. George is tired of being a hypocrite towards the blacks, and now he aims to use the Apple of Eden and become a hypocrite towards everyone. He wants to use the apple to enslave the minds of everyone in America, shoot, maybe even everybody in the world, but it's up to Connor to stop him from making this happen. The story and the combat in this DLC was absolutely great, but more importantly, the story was accurate. See, most of you don't know, but this actually happened, but the Vatican has been hiding the proof in their basement right next to their documents about the UFOs and demons. What? I'm being for real, look it up. You know what I hate most about Assassin's Creed Shadows? It isn't just that DEI samurai that's all up in the game, but it's the fact the game stole an idea from another game. Shadows is not even the first AC game with two protagonists. That goes to Assassin's Creed Syndicate. And my favorite of the two characters was Evie Fry. I loved her because Ubisoft used it as a catalyst to remind the world that invisibility cloaks didn't come from the Harry Potter books. They were invented way back during the Industrial Revolution in London. People really used to go fully invisible in the 1800s, and I'm just happy that Ubisoft reminded the world. I'm also happy that Ubisoft used this game to clear up all the rumors going around about Jack the Ripper. See, in the DLC, you get to play as Jack the Ripper, and not once did the game allow you to kill any innocent victims inside of London. You know, the thing Jack was known for ripping. Instead, you find out he was a member of the British Division of Assassins at some point, which is real history, not revisionist. You know, early on in Assassin's Creed 2, our hero Ezio encounters his uncle Mario. The thing is though, Ezio was having a hard time recalling who he was, so his uncle decides to use his signature catchphrase to help jog Ezio's memory. Now during this interaction, he says,
"Keep the sword, Ezio.
Do I know you from somewhere?
Don't you recognize me? It's me, Mario!"
Now if that sounds familiar to you, it's because it is. It's Super Mario's patented,
It's me, Mario.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen, Miyamoto is not the genius that you thought he was. He in fact stole that catchphrase from an Italian Renaissance Uncle Mario, and there it is in 4K. This is what I love about this franchise. It exposes so much truth to you ignorant peons. Assassin's Creed Origins, Odyssey, and Valhalla are some of the most historically accurate video games that I've ever played. See, here on the righteous side of the internet, one of the main arguments is that it isn't that Yasuke is black, it's just that every other Assassin's Creed protagonist was native to the place the game took place in. Take Eivor from Valhalla as an example. Clearly they were native to England. I mean, that's why the Vikings were invading. And I shouldn't even have to bring that up because Ubisoft has been keeping things native. I mean, look at Edward Kenway. Clearly that Welshman is native to the Caribbean. But back to the RPG trilogy. Some of my favorite historically accurate moments come from these games, and this includes the fight with Sobek, the fight with the Minotaur, the fight with the witches, visiting Atlantis, when Cassandra becomes an immortal with that staff. I mean, the list goes on. There's so many things that actually happen in the real world happening in these games, and I'm glad that Ubisoft is here to remind all of you non-believers. Ezio Auditore was many things, which includes charming, resourceful, a master assassin, and MOS 19K. Now, if you're unfamiliar with the term MOS, it stands for Military Occupational Specialty. It's just a fancy acronym for your job in the military. And in the US Army, guess what MOS 19K is? If you don't know, don't worry, I got you. The MOS for a tank driver in the US Army is 19K, which stands for M1 Armor Crewman. Tank drivers, also known as tankers, operate and maintain M1 Abram tanks. During combat, they use tanks and amphibious assault vehicles to destroy enemies. Now, you might be wondering, what does this have to do with Ezio? I mean, that man lived during the Italian Renaissance, like back in the 1500s. Well, I'm here to let you know it has everything to do with Ezio. See, there's a mission in Assassin's Creed Brotherhood that sheds light on real forgotten history. Ezio drove a tank through an enemy base. And if it wasn't for Ezio beta testing things for Da Vinci, we wouldn't have gotten MOS 19K to spread freedom across the world. I think the most impressive thing about this mission, though, is just how fast the tank is and how quickly it reloaded cannon fire. It was so intuitive because Ezio mentions Da Vinci didn't give him a manual or teach him how to drive the tank. He just had to figure out how to drive the tank on the fly, which is just amazingly cool. Believe it or not, one of my favorite moments in Assassin's Creed happens with one of the Blacks in his natural habitat in Assassin's Creed Origins. I felt like Bayek was such a well-written character, and the origin story of the assassins with him and his wife was just mwah. I just didn't expect there to be so many layers to this origin story. I mean, after you beat the game, you're treated to a bonus quest line called A Gift from the Gods. The quest involved a new tomb, alien technology, and a sundial puzzle for you to solve. If you complete the quest, the player is given powerful rewards such as new armor and weapons, but the real treat is you get a cameo from some Final Fantasy characters. And listen, this was a mind-blowing revelation. The boost in power you got from your new weapons and armor gave Bayek the power to carry on the fight against the Templars, which what led to Altair, then Ezio, then the Fry twins, and more. Just think about it. Ezio is a true hero, and despite the 3 games he has, I don't think he gets enough love. That's why I wanted to highlight one of the most historically accurate moments from this game. It comes at the end of Assassin's Creed 2. In that game's final boss fight, Ezio is tasked with fighting the Pope, who's in control of a piece of Eden. As mentioned earlier with the George Washington stuff, pieces of Eden can control people. Now think about all the evil things the church has done in your lifetime, then think about all the evil things the church has done ever. Imagine that, but tenfold thanks to the power of the Apple of Eden. That madness was stopped because of Ezio, and it just hurts me to know that most people don't know of his heroics. The Pope was delivering a sermon and asking people for handouts, so Ezio slid through and passed his hands out to the Pope. It ended up in this dramatic battle where we got to see aliens talking to the future self known as Desmond. We got to kill the Pope and meet a bad bitch named Minerva. And all of this is documented in the Vatican. It just took Ubisoft a million micro to bring it all to life. So next time someone tries to make you feel bad for demanding historical accuracy in Assassin's Creed, just show them this video. It doesn't matter what real Japanese people say about Assassin's Creed Shadows. Keep spamming the comment section of random YouTube videos with Google translated Japanese text until they believe we're right. We're not crazy, they are. You let those crazy people know Cassandra's actually immortal, and you better let them know there's a machine out there that can let you relive the memories of your ancestors. And you let those crazies know this isn't the only game trying to silence you. Marvel Rivals is trying to censor people too, and if you click the card on the screen, you can continue to fight to stop the censorship and evil tyranny that is the internet.